Welcome back, you lovely, lovely people. This is video 4 of 4 for our Saturday the 17th of February sale here at Manor Park Classics. And you might have guessed, it's bikes. So don't forget to like, subscribe, ring that bell. And I'm here with Jimmy, our bike guru and expert, a man who not only sprays his tan, but also sprays on his trousers.
A bit baggier than yours today, I think, Paul.
That's a baggy trouser.
Yeah.
That's a legging. Right, on with the bikes. So this is a 1988 Honda VFR 750R RC30, the most iconic homologation bike money can buy.
Correct, yeah, and also arguably the world's first superbike. So this one's been nut and bolt stripped, rebuilt from the ground up. Brand new paint job as well done to the bike, which you can see is to a terrific standard. Loads of precedence, loads of history with this bike. Nice reserve on it, and anyone who knows anything about motorcycles, especially sports bikes, knows just how impeccably important this was to motorcycle racing.
This is a bit of bike history, isn't it? This is one of the canon. If you've got an iconic sports bike collection, you have to have that in it, don't you?
Yeah, it's the one. Yeah, it's the one to have.
Can't stress enough, ladies and gents, that's a show quality bike. Basically, that's a museum quality bike.
Yeah,
and because of that, and because of what it is, you are going to pay all the money, but the best always costs. 30 to 32 grand will take you that home. But then you need to do nothing. Nope. Absolutely nothing. Just admire it. Sit there with a cup of tea or something a bit stronger in a chair and just look at it.
Yeah, we've got videos and all sorts of that being stripped, rebuilt, running, everything else. There's loads of precedence with it as well.
That is gorgeous. So a little bit older, but no less impressive. 1968 BSA D14 4 Bantam.
Yep.
A complete restoration and dry stored. Again,
yeah, so
immaculate.
This has been dry stored. We know the person who owns this, and it's actually just spent 3 years in our office.
Oh, yeah,
air conditioned upstairs. So there's no patina, there's no rust. The only thing this needs doing is a little bit of wiring to finish, and as I was just showing you there, it just needs some BSA badges, which you can get for about £50 or something like that, and it's good to go.
Yeah, and so that's a lovely thing, isn't it?
Beautiful, nice low reserve on that. £1,600, I think.
Yeah,
low end on that
you
one.
would buy it for that. 1,500 to 2 grand would take you that home.
Yeah.
So again, if you're just looking for something as we did to have in your office to have a little bit of a talking point or a piece of sculpture.
Yeah, it's like a little piece of artwork in it, which
It
is
is.
why it sat in the office for a few years.
So 1968 BSA B25 B40, this one.
Yeah. So this bike's a BSA B25, and then it was a bit of a common upgrade, but they've tried to make it a bit like a scrambler, and then stuck a 350cc BSA B40 engine in there as well. So the bike works, it runs a little bit patinaed, however, with a low sort of bottom estimate of £1,300, that could be a bargain for anyone's money, and that's been quite popular actually.
Yeah, we've had a few people ring up on that, haven't we?
We have, yeah.
That looks very, very nice. Onto the matchless. Now, these really are quite a moody looking bike, these, aren't they? They just look absolutely...
They look a bit gangster, don't they?
They do.
Yeah.
Even with my scant bike knowledge, even I know that's got presence, that bike, isn't it?
It has got a bit of presence. It's missing an attachment and a Tommy gun, isn't it?
So 1956 G3 LS, fully restored this bike here. It's got a large file of history.
Yes.
Loads of original parts come with it as well. Of course, it's tax exempt. The V5's there. It's got great tyres. It's not going to be an enormous amount of money, is it?
No, not really. And we also know the gentleman who's actually consigned this with us. We thought it was a brand new restoration because it looks so good. However, it's a recent restoration in recent years, but before he's had it. If you'd have told me he'd just restored it and brought it in, I probably would have believed it, to be fair. But again, the motor needs breaking in on this and everything else because it's complete restoration, including the motor. So runs, rides, sweet, all the switches, everything. It's all good to go, beautiful.
But you seem to be very good at finding these bikes that have had mega restorations and are just sat, basically. We're going to come to our prize lot in a little bit that hasn't even been ridden at all, is it?
Correct, yeah.
So we're going to not spoil it. Now, this is a bike I don't know a huge amount about. This is the 1949 Douglas T35. Tell me the history of this bike.
Yeah, okay, so yeah, this one's a Vespa Douglas. And as you can see, it has been restored lovingly. A lot of people used to swap the engine in these bikes and use them as a flat tracker. This one's original. The owner before the guy that's brought it in, I believe the tank was a little bit untidy, so the tank has been completely redone, repainted to the high standard you can see, and also inside it's beautiful. So this bike has got a really nice low reserve on it. It runs, it rides, everything works just like the matchless. And it's good to go.
It is lovely, isn't it? And again, 40s bikes have a quite unique aesthetic, don't they? You're not going to spend a massive amount, 3 to 3.5 grand would buy you that bike and you can take that home.
Yeah.
Very lovely thing.
Yeah, beautiful.
So Suzuki TC250 Super 6, that is a really phenomenal looking bike.
Right, and it's not surprising you say that, to be honest, because these are like hen's teeth, and you just don't see them. I know the gentleman who owns this bike, he's put quite a few bikes through us. He's quite an avid collector. And yeah, you just don't see these around, and it's nice to have it in. It's not a massively expensive bike, but it's a bit special, and it's something nice to put into the mix in the auction. It's a previous restoration. It's a little bit patinaed, but what's good about these...
Chrome's good though, isn't it?
This is what I was just going to point out. The chrome on these, back when they did this, it's chrome, and underneath it, the metal's anodized.
Yeah.
So it's just bulletproof. You leave it out in the rain, and it won't do anything to it. It's not like modern chrome that you might see on a Harley Davidson, dare I say.
Yeah.
That would just fall apart. So yeah, I mean, it's beautiful the way it is, and also because of the build quality, it's probably going to stay like that for a long time, even if somebody seldom uses it.
Also new tyres, reboard motor as well. You've got new pistons in there, got a crank rebuilt by Ian Ambler, changing sprockets all done. So it's not just pretty and in lovely condition, but actually where it counts, it's all been nude, hasn't it?
Yeah, it's proper job, yeah. Yeah, that's the way I wrote it up, because I wanted to get the point across that everything is right, everything has been done. I mean, the crank rebuild would have been hundreds of pounds on this bike as well, so someone's put the money into it anyway.
Very, very nice indeed. And that you could buy that bike, ladies and gents, between £5 and £6 grand if you fancy that. And I just think that's the most astounding looking thing. Really great aesthetic, that bike, isn't it?
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Love that. So
Brand new
1973,
tyres on there as well.
say again, sorry, brand new
No,
tyres.
I'll say brand new tyres pretty much on there as well, but do go on.
Love that. So the Motor
1973.
Guzzi.
Yeah.
So this is a militaire. So this is a genuine military spec bike, I guess, for the 70s.
It was built, yeah, as a military spec bike. So the gentleman that bought this was going to do a complete restoration on it. And as you can see, it got as far as the paintwork, which you can tell has been done to a really nice standard.
It has,
it's
beautiful.
Got that nice mirror finish on it. However, other than that, and finding an original can, it was then kind of left. So it runs, it rides. However, the restoration does need finishing on it.
This is a great looking thing. And how rare would that be? How many did they make?
I don't know exactly how many they made. It obviously wasn't a mass-produced bike.
Yeah.
Initially, it was built for a purpose, for a war cause. So I don't know how many. How many do you see on the road at classic meetups? Not very many.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But for a 50-year-old bike, that's in remarkable condition. And £2 to £3 grand, you could take that home.
That's it.
And you'd have a lot of fun if you did.
Yes.
Well, 1980 BMW R65. Now this, even with my bike knowledge, I know this bike. This has got some really good stuff. So you've got your flat twin, you've got your mag mags, haven't you? Proper.
Mad Max.
Yeah.
Yeah. So are you thinking James Bond?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. So basically, this bike, in a nutshell, it runs well.
Yeah.
It sounds nice. It works mechanically. I've rode it for a short distance.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't want to say that the brakes are spot on. They probably need a service. However, this bike is a full restoration. It's very much corroded.
Yeah.
There's a lot of patina on it, as you can see there, just to be completely honest. However, the good thing is, apart from some aftermarket mirrors, it's all there.
Well, you can say it's a complete bike, isn't it?
It's a complete bike, yeah. So, you know, if you wanted to be a bit garish, you could just service and MOT it, and you could put this straight on the road. Otherwise,
I think I'd ride it like that.
well, you could ride it like that. It's quite cool anyway, isn't
really
it?
cool.
But, you know, if you wanted to make it look like it did in its former glory,
Yeah.
it's essentially a full restoration.
But that's nice. But the wheels are in good shape, the frame's in a good shape, the tank's there, like I say, all the weird trim bits are there.
Exactly, yeah, and with
the
a
hard
low
work's
end
done.
reserve of £1,000 on it.
That's all it is.
Yeah, we've had quite a bit of interest in this bike as well. I've had 3 phone calls today, a couple of emails and stuff about it, because this is one of those things where you do it for the love when you restore a lot of bikes.
Yeah.
But if someone picks this up for the low end reserve, they're worth about 5,000 quid.
So you could make a turn on that, couldn't you?
You actually, for a change, could make a turn on this. Yeah.
That's very nice. Now we should walk over to this, the Ducati 916 Biposto.
Yeah,
Yeah.
let's do it.
Now, would you like to buy a brand new bike? Imagine you'd invented a time machine, and we say this a lot, this is like going back and buying. This is not like going back, this is going back to 1996, because this bike, ladies and gentlemen, has not been ridden. It has done 10 miles.
10 miles.
10 miles.
Yeah. So actually, the bike had done 9 miles, and the gentleman who owns it got it running to prove the fact that it works.
And did a mile.
And it did, yeah, it clocked on to the 10th mile because these run off a dry clutch.
So he's basically put his mileage up by about 11% on that day.
Yeah, and he wasn't very happy about it from what I heard as well. But yeah, essentially this bike, it looks like it's done 10 miles. It's done it being pushed around shows from the start. So,
but it does run, fires up, runs, all that?
It fires up, it runs, however, there's no evidence of there ever being a cam belt or a service change. Now, on Ducatis, you've got to do the cam belts every 3,000 miles, regardless of years. This is obviously, I suspect, on the original cam belt and has never been done. So you wouldn't want to do that, because you're going to get catastrophic engine failure. So,
but let's be honest, you're never. If you buy this bike, you're never going to ride it, are you?
You're never going to ride it, but regardless, I would tend to give it a cam belt service anyway. The beauty of this is that it's such an iconic machine.
Yeah.
You know, it was said it was the Ferrari of its day. The design itself just looks like a piece of art. This bike was basically, it was engineered in the early 90s and was used in World Superbike racing, and then it really came into mass production late on into the 90s with the SP and the SPS. This one being the BP, so this is like the basic model. However, to find one in this condition with 10,000 miles.
With 10 miles?
With 10
not
miles.
10,000, 10?
Yeah, not 10,000. With 10 miles is just so rare, it's unbelievable. There's loads of paperwork and precedence as well, so you can see like the tyres on this have not been used now. The tyres were original until 2014, and then we've got a receipt because the guy that
just
bought
for safety,
this,
I guess. Yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, it was sat in a collection for a long time, so they do tend to egg a little bit.
Yeah.
So the guy that bought this is that finicky that even put a new set of tyres on it,
I love
just
people like that.
just to keep it, you know, looking the way it should.
So this bike will probably spend its life exactly as it is now, on a podium somewhere, roped off, in somebody's bar, restaurant,
Is that sad?
garage.
Though? Yes
It is
or
a
no?
little. Well, it
It's a
kind
little
of
bit
is,
sad.
but then you get to admire something that is as new. I personally think bikes should be ridden and cars should be driven.
Yeah,
but
exactly,
I think realistically, if you're going to invest in a bike like that, and that's going to be 21 to 23 grand, so that is an investment.
Well, it's like
you've got to keep your money in it, haven't you?
You've got to keep the money in it, yeah. And like you were saying earlier, what would you rather buy? A piece of art to stick on your wall that appreciates in value, or would you rather buy that?
Exactly.
I know what I'd rather do.
Can't sit on art, can you?
No.
We can, but you'll break it.
Yeah, you'd break it.
Yeah. Moving on, so we're going from literally the sublime to the ridiculous now. So look at this. This is funny. Honda Z50J Rare Gold Edition.
Yes.
I've seen the bike before, but I've never seen a gold one.
Yeah, I thought initially that someone had decided that that's what they wanted to do, because I don't have a massive amount of knowledge about these. However, it's not. It's just production from Honda. So you don't see a lot of these in the UK because they're built for the Japanese market.
Yeah.
This is a brand new bike.
It's done 2 miles.
Yeah, it's a new bike. It's done show miles. And it is how it is.
You can actually register this bike if you wanted to. You're buying a brand new bike, you could register this, and this is a road legal bike, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
If you register it, and we've got the paperwork if you want to do that.
Yeah.
It's absolutely bonkers.
Yeah, a lot cheaper than a new one as well. So if you are looking for one of these, I don't want to pay a new bike price. Yeah. There's an old for new stock, if you like.
Ultimate pit bike, wouldn't you say? Ultimate pit bike.
That'd be a cool pit bike, yeah.
It really would.
Yeah,
I mean, it's probably a bit too flash.
But you can't really get any more flash than that, can you?
It's absolutely hilarious. 3.5 to 4.5 grand if you fancy, effectively, as Jimmy says, a brand new bike in a colour that you can never get anymore and was very, very rare at the time. Yeah. And of course, you can fold the bars though, can't you? You can undo those and they fold down, don't they? So it stacks.
Yeah, it's basically made so you can stick it on the back of your vehicle. So when you go away for a weekend or you do whatever you're doing, or if you were using it for going up a mountain to do a bit of hunting or something.
Often do that.
Well, same.
Yeah,
there's loads of mountains around here.
Yeah, when Waitrose is shut, that's what I do.
Full mountains, and it folds away. But yeah, it's
amazing.
Cool. Yeah.
That's blown my mind. That has, and the fact that it's got no miles on. But also, this next bike's done 208 miles, 1972 Honda ST70, with a lovely period number plate on the front. Has been dry stored pretty much all of its life, lightly patinated. Just needs a recommission. But that's ridiculous. Where do you find that?
So this bike actually has come from a gentleman which is local, so it's been locally sourced. Yeah. And his daughter has actually brought this in to us. It's been well loved and well looked after by a gentleman who obviously cared a lot about motorcycles. And as you can see, it has been dry stored. Speaking to the vendor's daughter, it does work. Yeah. It has been ridden. You know, it's got a couple of miles on there. I'm tempted to think that the miles are proper and genuine just by the look of it. And I think all that needs, like you say, is an oil change and a new plug, and I think off you go.
It doesn't look like it's had much of a life, does it? It looks like it's had a very easy time of things.
It has, yeah.
So Street Magic, you've got a bit of Street Magic, and we've got a bit of Street Magic in the corner here, 1998 TR250S, super rare learner bike. I've never even seen one of these.
No, I've never seen one before.
It's got CVT. I could ride this. this is my thing, twist and go.
I'm not too sure that you'd fit on that, though, to be honest.
I think it'd be quite funny. I reckon I could sit on the luggage rack on the back. It could be a bit uncomfortable.
We'll try it later. I'll ride it and you sit on the back and we'll go for a pint.
That's your best gentleman, that is. Right, 1998 this was made, but imported in 2023, so it's a fresh import from Japan.
Yeah.
Low kilometres, just a ridiculous
road
bit
legal.
of fun. Yeah. How on earth is that road legal?
I have no idea. I'm not sure I'd personally want to ride it on the road. It might be a bit dangerous. However, you can imagine for other purposes it'd be a lot of fun. And also for someone like an older child,
Yeah.
it'd be a good way to get them into
If you were
mountain
16 and very small, you could ride down the shops on that, couldn't
biking.
you?
You certainly could, yeah.
Go get your chips.
Yeah, I don't know what it'd do for you, but yeah, you certainly could. But if you're looking to get a child, though, into racing, or into motorcycles,
Yeah.
it's a step up from a mini moto.
That's true.
You know, so that's probably the market for it, really.
And there's no gears to learn either, because it's CVT.
Correct.
So £1,200 to £1,700 would let you take that home.
Yeah.
We're going to move on to this, which I think is wonderfully done.
Yeah.
This is a 60 Lambretta, and it's a Mi Amigo tribute scooter, and it's been phenomenally done. So who did this? Do we know?
This has come from the same gentleman as the Honda we were just looking at. And he actually did all the work to this bike. So it's a part restoration on the motor. It's in overall good condition. And if you look on the website, there's actually a link to the owners club, which has got all the precedents and information about that actual flight that went down in the UK in World War II.
It's incredible.
And what it's attributed, including the names of the pilot and also the crew that were on the plane.
So it's a wonderful tribute, like you say, but it's also been fabulously executed. So all these rivets they've put on have been done, each one's been individually airbrushed by the looks of things. So I can't even imagine the time and trouble that's taken to put that together and how well it's been done.
It's a strange one, isn't it? Because it looks the way it looks, but it only looks that way because of the effort.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a really nice bike, locally sourced again, and also from the vendor. It just needs a bit of a service.
So could you ride that on the road? Is that more of a display piece, or is that actually ready to go?
No, he did. He did ride it on the road.
Fair play.
Yeah, often. So yeah, it's good to go. It's a lovely little thing, and actually, it's had quite a bit of interest, which is nice.
I'm not surprised, but that again that really kind of falls outside it. You could either ride it; it's a wonderful collector's piece, but just as a bit of set dressing, that's going to be very, very hard to top that, particularly because it's only going to be, in the grand scheme of things, $3.5 to $4.5 grand.
Yeah, that's
what you've got there. I mean, the work that's gone into that, even just the cost of the airbrushing and the.
Yeah, I envisage the kind of person who's going to buy it. It's going to be a average scooter collector, or it's going to be someone with like a cafe or something.
Yeah, that in a cafe or a pub would be ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous. So this is lovely. So obviously one of the world's best-selling motorcycles, the Honda C90, fully restored with no expense spared, and new everything.
That's it. So we'll just cover these two together because they're pretty much the same from the same owner. So
this is an 89 and that's an 88 behind it.
Correct, yeah. So they're the same bike, and they're both what's called the economy models. So you get a few extra little bits and pieces. Obviously, you can see this one's got an original windshield on it as well. Both have been restored really nicely.
They have, haven't they?
However, a lot more time and effort went into the blue one.
Which is why it's a little bit more. So this is 1700 to 222.
It is, yeah.
And it is like new, isn't it, basically?
It is, yeah. It's pretty much a new motorcycle. But both of these bikes run and ride perfectly. You don't need anything doing to them. Obviously, the blue one's a little bit more expensive because it's had a bit more time spent in it. You can just see that the wheels are a bit more up to standard.
Yeah.
The paint's a little bit better. And also around the engine bay and stuff's tidier. And also you get the screen on the front and the hand protector shield as well.
Because that looks like that would be incredibly easy and comfortable to ride that. It looks like you could ride that for almost like it's a commuter bike because you've got your windshield and everything on the front.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, as a commuter, well, essentially, I mean, that's what these bikes are used for, aren't they? It's people going to and from work.
Yeah.
You know, for whatever reason.
You could ride that out. So there you go, and the red one, as you say, a little bit less expensive. So that one is 1,500 to £2 grand. So you can buy that one for a little bit less.
Yep.
Both beautiful, both very usable, and I've ridden one of those. They're actually really easy to ride, aren't they, as well?
Yeah, they're really easy to ride. There's not really much to them, to be honest. The gentleman that's had it restored, both of them, why he put more into the blue one than the red one. I've no idea, but it reflects on the reserves anyway. So.
And that screen, I think, really makes it look like you're California Highway Patrol. So for that reason, I'd want to do that one. Now this is good. This is the only bike that I really fit on that I look any good on. 94 Kawasaki KDX220. So it's road legal. It's an enduro bike.
Yep.
Great looking bike, that isn't it? It's massive as well.
Yeah, it is. And all Kawasaki's from that era tended to look like this. So they look like a 90s tracksuit, a 90s shell suit.
Which is a great look for me.
Yeah, well, it's a great look for anyone. Isn't
Yeah,
it? It's cool. I actually had a green and purple tracksuit.
Did you really?
Yeah, the shell suit.
This has only done 7,000 kilometres. So where's it been, or where's it not been?
Well, it's obviously done a lot of storage. It's been in a lot of storage, hasn't it?
Yeah.
It's not been restored, looking at it, because you can tell by the spindles on the wheels and everything else. It's had a bit of work done to it, but it's pretty much an original bike. The actual indicators are original on this for a change as well, which is something that's
Did they always get swapped out, did they?
Yeah, they did. Well, a lot of bikes like this tend to fall over quite a bit.
When you're doing jumps.
When you're doing stuff, yeah. I mean, obviously, it's a road legal, road going bike, but people would take them off road and stuff. However, I think this one lends itself more towards the fact that it's just being a commuter bike and something that someone's enjoyed rather than taking it out and thrashing it around fields.
But I sat on, that's the only bike I've sat on that I actually look sensible on. Every bike makes it look like I'm riding a kid's bike, but I sat on that earlier and it just looks, I'm quite feeling it.
It's feeling good.
I'm feeling good. If I had a bike license, 2,200 to 2,800 quid, you could buy that bike. Or if you want a Honda, you could have the 86 Honda CR500F.
Yeah, I mean, that's just a rocket ship. So basically, that is a very niche bike for a couple of reasons. One is that era never had a 2-in-1 underseat exhaust, and it's an original Honda part, which is very expensive. Yeah. New for old show of forks. The chassis on that bike is a 2020. However, the engine that's on it is a 1989 full power CR500. So that's the most powerful engine they ever did.
So I'm confused. So this is a proper kind of resto mod then, really. So you've got bits of 86 bike, bits of 2020 bike, and it's a beautiful hybrid of all the best bits of Honda crosses, basically.
It is, yeah. You know, it's got lightweight wheels on it. It's got a sprocket that's got slightly less teeth on it, so it'll give you a lot more power to the back wheel. Samco hoses. It's a real trick piece of kit, and there's a lot of spec on it. If you have a look on the website, all the spec is all there.
It's a long old list. Do have a read of that if you are interested. There's a great video, and as Jimmy says, a lot of spec. 6 to 7 grand, you could take that home. Yep. Or if you want to cruise in ultimate comfort, if you like your Hondas a bit quieter, a bit smoother, a bit more luxurious, you can have this Pan-European, and this is a monster, isn't it?
It's a monster, and you know what? The motor on this sounds like a new.
Does it?
Yeah, it does, yeah. I mean,
because it has done 57,000, but it's been impeccably maintained, isn't it?
You just wouldn't tell, no. The gentleman that's brought this in has put a couple of bikes in through us. His bikes are always nice. That V4 motor is always very smooth anyway.
Beautifully balanced as well, isn't it?
The motor on this runs superbly. It runs and rides beautifully. It's got 11 months MOT. The paint works great on it. The wheels are great on it.
Isn't it?
The brakes are great on it. And really, there's nothing really to say about this. There's the odd, tiny little scuff that's not going to offend anybody, and with a low end estimate of £800.
What?
You know, it's a lot of bike. It's worth anything up to around £2,000 on a good day. But that really is a good example. And to be honest, someone said to me 57,000 miles.
You wouldn't believe them.
Oh, I wouldn't know.
So there you go. Between 800 and 1,200 pounds, you can take that home. That is a lovely bike.
Yeah, yeah.
Right, getting very sporty now, Jimmy. 1992 Yamaha TZR250.
Yeah. So this one's a TZ350, known as the 3XV. Lightweight wheels, dry clutch, clow ratio gearbox, being an SP model. These are an absolute shed load of fun to ride. Shift for a 250, two-stroke. This one, it needs a little bit of work doing to it. It's a fairly tidy bike, but we expect it to do quite well. And actually, that is the current market. That's where things are selling.
Is that really?
That's where you put your money.
This is the Japanese import bike, came over in 2022.
That's it, yeah.
And often with cars, we find they're just much nicer because the roads are so much better over there. You don't get any kind of salt contamination or anything like that. But that's just a clean and tidy bike. Like you say, just needs a couple of detailed bits, but it's all there, isn't it?
Yeah, it's all there. It's a nice bike. And like I say to you, this is where the market is. These 80s, 90s, talking about classic, modern classic, Japanese stuff. This is where you want to put your money. And to be fair, you know, if you put about 1,500 quid into that,
yeah,
you could, you know, you potentially got yourself a £9,000 to £10,000 bike.
Interesting. You could buy that for 6.5 to 7.5. So there, again, potentially profit to be made, and certainly fun to be had.
Yeah, a lot of fun. Yeah, that'll be fun as soon as you kick it, that thing.
A 1990 Ducati 851, stunning, low mileage this one, from a collection, really clean bike, and dry stored since 1991. It's only a 1990 bike.
Exactly. Yeah. So it appears to have been used within its first year or two. If you look at the mileage history and everything else online, it appears to have been used for the first couple of years of its life, and then after that, it's not really turned a cog. And actually comes from the same collector as the 10 mile 916, so that won't surprise you.
No, you could buy the pair, couldn't you?
You could. So, you know, I mean, that is a great bike.
Beautiful looking thing, isn't it? The plastics are really good on that, aren't they? And the paint's perfect.
The paint's perfect. It's not been restored either. It's really nice. There's a couple of small marks that's just on the side panel there, but I mean, that wouldn't put me off, and nor should it anybody else. The wheels are fresh. The paint's fresh. It runs. And it's been long-term dry stored and loved for many years.
Very, very nice. But 6.5 to 7.5 is obviously really good value for a very, very nice bike.
Yeah,
and it's got that lovely, nice aesthetic. I love this kind of full-flared era, but with the skeleton of the frame showing through. I just think it's a really great look.
Yeah, and Ducati were famous for doing that, just basically building a frame just around the engine, and then a subframe. Whereas now the new ones, there is no frame; it's just an engine and everything's bolted on. Yeah, it's basically stressed. Yeah, but lovely bike, especially 851 red with white frame. That really does it for me. So yeah, nice machine.
Pretty thing. And this one's back because I can't believe this didn't sell last time because it's such a gorgeous bike. The 77 Kawasaki Z1000 A1, restored really nicely with beautiful tank paint on this as well. Yeah. It's had new points and loom, it's had a restoration, it's got lovely paint, it's got great chrome on it as well, and it's been in storage for a long time.
Yeah, it has. The gentleman that owned this, another case of buying something which is a bit of a dream and then seldom using it. Yeah. So yeah, it's got 900 badges on it just because he had those, so he put them on. But it is a Z1000, and it's a dead straight, dead honest bike. It's beautiful. It's got an aftermarket exhaust there, but it does come with the original exhaust as well.
Yeah, that sounds nice, doesn't it? I've heard that.
Yes, yeah, it'll be supplied to the lucky winner of the bike. The paintwork is just flawless on the tank. It's fantastic. There's the tiniest little mark near where the seat is, and that's about it. But it's come back in this time. It's got an even lower, better reserve on it, so we're expecting big things. We think that one will do well.
So this is now estimated at 8 to 9. So I think that was kind of be where it was going to be last time. So I think whoever bid last time bid again. You'll take it home this time, won't you?
Well, basically, yeah, it could have sold. It could have gone last time, but we'll see what happens. But it doesn't always work like that. Lower reserve, you know, it might.
It's very true.
Some more,
and that, of course, is the beauty of us here at Manor Park Classics. If we don't sell in this auction, we can always hold it for you till the next one, and who knows, the right buyer might be the next one.
And you only pay us if we sell.
Exactly. So it's always in the vendor's favour, which is what we love.
Correct.
So 1980 Rickman Honda CR810, a Yoshimura. This is such a cool looking bike.
It is a cool looking bike. Isn't it?
Tell me the story of this. I want to own this just because of how it looks.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people look at this and mistake it for a race bike due to the way it's built.
Yeah.
It's not a race bike, it is a production bike. Rickman Honda, you've probably heard of Rickman.
I have.
Building other sorts of stuff as well. And this is with their Yoshimura edition, so it's got a Yoshimura exhaust system on it. It also comes with standard system and also a different race tank and seat cowl from the back, painted in a different colour, but comes with it. Long-term dry stored, and the guy who actually bought this had the full intention of repainting it into a different livery and going all out on it. However, just with restrictions and everything else, he's decided to move it on. He's put a nice reserve on it, and someone could get a bargain.
Very, very groovy looking bike that is. Lovely, 8 to 9 grand, you could own that. There can't be many of these about, are there?
Well, there isn't. No, it's like when Rickman do anything else. It's always like a bit of a novelty, really, isn't it? So yeah, no, not a mass-produced bike. You don't really see them. And like I say, yeah, generally overall nice condition. Bike runs. Just been serviced as well.
Ready
so
to
it
go.
Doesn't need anything. It's ready to go. Yeah.
That's super cool. Right, 1977 Honda CB400 SF Super 4.
Yeah.
Really nice. This has had a full resto and it shows, doesn't it?
Yes, it has. So the gentleman that's consigned this restored this in memory of his dad, actually, because it was his dad's bike.
Oh, what a lovely story.
Yeah, and then he kind of wanted to make sure that it was right. So he's got the bike off his father. He spared no expense. He's done him proud and restored it to a really, really nice standard. And I just happened to see this one online, reach out to the gentleman, and he was good enough to give it to us. He's put a really nice reserve on it as well, so it has had a lot of interest. The paintwork, the wheels, everything's superb. It runs, it rides, another bike that's good to go.
So that's £3.5 to £4 grand, and as you say, if you look at the work and the care and the attention, understandably, it's gone into this restoration. It's obviously meant a lot to him, looking at the quality of what he's done. Many, many new parts, and everything's executed beautifully, and you could take it in for £4 grand. Yeah,
you can, and restored with most of its originality as well, apart from the seat cover, which is nice as well to keep it, you know, original.
Really beautiful bike, really beautiful. On to the 1981 Yamaha XJ550 Seiko.
The Seiko, yeah. So, as you know, this one was in the last auction.
Pretty bike. I do.
Yeah,
It's private collection once again. You seem to be emptying Cheshire of its entire private collections of motorbikes.
That's what we do, isn't it?
It is true.
Yeah, that we try to get the nicest stuff. So that's what
but this blows my mind because we have very nice cars in the auction, but what you're seeming to be able to do on the bike side is get the best of the best. A lot of these are kind of museum quality, collector quality, but like nearly all of them are.
Yeah. I mean, we do like stuff as well. We've got people like other stuff that they can tinker with and all that sort of stuff. But you know, we're raising the bar here at Manor Park Classics. We're bringing in some good stuff, and this is basically what I see. Again, Japanese, good place to put your money. These are very rare. You don't see these knocking around. You do see the 550s, but not the Seiko, not in this livery. Again, completely restored.
Lovely.
As you can see, that it's been restored within an inch of its life. No expense spared, and then not ridden since it's been restored, so it needs breaking in.
It does.
Yeah.
It's like having that new bike feeling, isn't it, but on a lovely early 80s bike.
That's correct, yeah. So we had it in on the last auction and did some marketing for it. Just thought maybe it was the wrong time of the year for that particular bike.
So we're coming into spring now, maybe?
We're coming in now, so I think, big things from that bike. It's really nice. A couple of registered bidders on that one, which is totally understandable.
Yeah.
And if you're looking for one of them, particularly, that's the one for you because it's just belted. It's beautiful.
That is a gorgeous thing.
Yeah.
And moving on, also very sort of period-looking, lovely vibe to this bike. 1986 Suzuki GF250. Again, another private collection bike.
Yeah.
Nut and bolt restoration. Gorgeous paint on this thing as well.
Yeah.
Just serviced, ready to go. Do you have to run this one in as well?
Pretty much, yeah. It's from the same collector as the Seiko that's next to it that we just covered. And I don't know if you've actually ever heard one of these. Probably not, because I've never actually seen one before in my old years of motorcycling. But they're only a 250, so they're not going to tear your arms off, but they sound like a Formula One car.
Oh, do they? So it sounds like you're doing 1,000,000 miles an hour, but your license is safe.
Yeah, basically.
Perfect bike then, isn't it?
It sounds brilliant. Even with that stock exhaust on it, they just sound like an F1 car. They sound great.
I like that. Bit small for me, but beautiful bike.
Yeah, a little bit small.
And that's not going to be enormous amounts of money, $3 to $3.5 grand.
Yeah.
That could be yours.
Very well priced. Recent tyres, fully serviced, ready to go. Stick an MOT on it and you're off.
And then that moves us on to, very briefly, we're going to bounce across this 1984 Honda CB900 F because...
Yeah.
Yeah? Is that sold, that one, or is it in the sale?
No, it's still in.
It's still in?
Yeah, it's still, oh, sorry, yeah, no, it's got a bid at top estimate.
Right, sorry.
Yeah.
I thought you pre-sold it because I was going to go on about a 3-stage sales process.
Oh.
You see what I mean? I thought if we'd had one go out the auction, you see.
Why don't you say something like, I believe there's already a few good bids on this?
No, we just
we can't, can we?
No, we just let it go.
Yeah, okay. We can just mention it at the end very quickly.
Now, another beast, 1984 Honda CB900 F, really lovely thing. 42,000 miles on this, mostly original as well.
Yeah.
Great tyres, lovely wheels on this, really tidy paintwork, no damage to tank or chassis, and a very nice aftermarket exhaust, which looks pretty period perfect to me.
Yeah, it does. It looks great. It comes with the original exhaust as well. You don't see a lot of these CB900Fs, especially in this Bordeaux livery. I actually, you know, if you told me you was going to put those colours together, you would think, eesh. But if you look at that bike, I think it looks a bit classy. Actually.
It really works.
Yeah, because you get these in red, in the just red.
Yeah.
And it kind of washes them out. But I do think that looks really good. We've had a lot of interest in it, and I think that's going to do really well for the vendor.
The phone has been ringing for that one, hasn't it?
It has, yeah, and it didn't surprise me. The vendor was, smart enough to put a good reserve on it, and I think for that reason, and it being such a nice thing, it's gained the interest that it needs. So I think it's going to do well.
Because briefly, we should talk about reserves. When bikes have low reserves, because everybody's interested because they think they can buy them, they awfully blow way past that figure, don't they? Because it just gets everybody excited.
Yeah, the problem with that is, very briefly, is that people will look and see something for sale that's been sat there for ages.
Yeah.
And say, oh, well, my bike's worth 10 grand.
Yeah.
When really it's worth like 7 or 8. So if you were to come £1,000 under that with a reserve, you get a queue of people thinking they're going to get.
Well, everyone thinks they're going to nick it, and then you get more people fighting, and all you need is 2 people fighting, and then it will make whatever it's worth.
And then it can make good money. Yeah,
It's
all swings and roundabouts. It can go the other way, but you never know. That's the look and draw of an auction.
But that's the beauty. If you put a sensible reserve, it won't
Yeah.
fetch less than that, and if it doesn't fetch that, it can go in the next sale.
Yeah.
So either way, you win. So 1980 Yamaha TZ350.
Yeah.
Again, another beautiful restoration.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, so mostly original bike. This I imagine will have been raced a few times, but not involved in proper professional motorcycle racing.
Club motorsport.
Yeah, if you like. Yeah, but it's really nice. It's really original. Inside the tank and everything's nice and clean. It needs a few small jobs doing to it, and it's been quite a popular bike today. Actually, we've had quite a few people in to look at it.
I can't believe how busy it's been on viewing today, actually. We've had so many people around, both cars and bikes.
Yeah.
And we've got 2 more days of viewing after this as well, if you're watching this early video.
Yeah.
But that's 8.5 to 9.5.
Yep.
A little bit of competition club history, as you say. Beautiful looking thing.
Yes.
To ride, to cherish, to enjoy, or just to park up and look at.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and it's about 3,000 quid under where it should be. So it's got a nice reserve. I think that'll do pretty well.
Now this is the look of this bike, this Yamaha 1977 TZ350D.
Yeah.
What a great looking bike that is.
Yeah, so this has been spec'd up to a G. Now, if you look at those, considering the same bike, which one of those two would you say has been involved in some serious Grand Prix racing?
It looks like the one on the right to me. Yeah.
Well, it has, yeah. So unfortunately, this has been involved in some professional TT and Northwest 500 Irish.
So this has seen
racing.
things, this bike.
This has seen action all its life. Unfortunately, we don't have the precedence for it, so we've had to tell the vendor we can't sell it that way because we don't have it. But anyone who knows anything about bikes will look at that and see that that's been involved in some serious.
But could you, though, if you were a bit of an armchair detective, could you buy this bike? And I've done this with cars before, and we've spoken about this in other videos today. Do a little bit of digging, homework, speak to some people, go through some photographs, go through old listings for races. You could maybe find that bike, couldn't you?
Absolutely. I mean, whoever buys it, we can always put them in touch with the vendor if they wish. And they can get the information from them and do it that way. So you could certainly find the precedence. It's just that obviously we can't sell it that way. But I think it's great. It looks fantastic with them lovely Campagnolo wheels on it. It's been involved in some serious racing and it's priced really well.
There you go. That is, if you want to know, ladies and gentlemen, that is £7.5 to £8,500. Seems like a lot of bike for the money.
Yeah.
And this Ducati, which looks like I could put one on each foot.
Yes.
This is a teeny tiny race bike. So a Mach 1, 1965 Mach 1.
Yeah. So this bike was known as the Air Mackie.
Yeah.
The only way to describe the sound of this thing is like the world's biggest crackle.
Is it really?
It sounds incredible. Yeah. Each rev sounds like a multiple of fireworks going off. And these were involved in some serious racing back.
Well, this looks like, again, this has seen some action. This is just very much designed with a very singular purpose.
Yeah, I mean, look at that seat position. Look how long that stretch is on the tank there.
You're down low, aren't you?
That is head down, arse up, ready to go. And yeah, it really is lovely. And again, that has had quite a bit of attention. It's a previous restoration. Don't really know when it was done. But yeah, fantastic bike. And from the vendor that it works.
Well, there you go. And again, not massively expensive, £3,500 to £4,000.
Yeah.
But talking about stretched out on a very long tank, you can't get a longer tank than the 1972 Suzuki GT250 Super 6.
Yeah.
That's the longest tank in the world.
I think it is.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah, it is, and it doesn't hold much capacity either.
No.
Yeah, so this was known as the Super 6. Sounds brilliant. The bike works, and actually it's come from the same collection as the Air Mackie there next to it.
Love his sports bikes, obviously.
Yeah, as you see, we've stuck all the race bikes together. But what can I say? I mean, you'd have to know about bikes to know about these particular machines. However, they're in great condition, the wheels and everything. totally original bike. Couldn't tell you if it's been raced or not.
Yeah.
It's probably been around the track because that's what it's designed to do. But yeah, low reserve. Nice
And loads
bike.
of money spent. Had 2,400 quid spent in the last few years. The
Correct.
bike's going to go for between 3.5 and 4 grand. So again, a bit of a bargain where you're letting somebody else pick up most of the big bills for you.
Well, yeah.
And then you don't have to.
Well, that's the money that's been spent in the last few years.
Yeah.
If you think how old it is to have it in that condition,
It's obviously
I
had
think
some
you'll find
love.
there's probably 20 odd grand in there over its life.
Yeah. Amazing.
Yeah, yeah.
So moving on to this beautiful Matchless, the G50 George Bill replica. Again, another collector bike. Lovely, dry term stored with an Andy Molnar motor.
Yeah, and the thing is, anyone who knows about these particular bikes, you're looking at 25 grand's worth of kit there.
Really?
With a low end estimate of around.
Let me tell you what it is, 15 to 18.
Yeah, and that's it. And for that reason, you know, I think that this is going to get a lot of interest. Just looking at the shape of that exhaust, I'm pretty sure that you could guess how cool that sounds.
That looks like it's going to be very, very loud.
Yeah, don't think it's been involved in any racing actually. I think it's just gone from collector to collector, at least in the latter part of its life anyway.
So that's obviously a big boy. Moving on to this 86 little pocket rocket Yamaha Yeezer 80.
Yeah, designed for children aged 12 and up to get into Japanese Grand Prix racing. So you don't see these in the UK because they weren't designed for the UK market. They were designed for that purpose.
Yeah.
However, this one's been imported, and the chap that's put it in did all the restoration on it while he was in COVID, which I imagine was a great project. And now it finds itself here. And again, with a new low reserve on it, we've had quite a bit of interest.
So that's reserved at 2 to 2.5. Now that's obviously unregistered at the moment. Could you register that bike?
No, that
You
is it's just a track bike purely designed for racing. Yeah,
I mean, I don't know who would ride it if you could register it. You'd have to be quite small.
you'd have to be fairly small.
Yeah.
I don't think you'd fit on that one.
I really don't think I would.
Yeah, yeah.
So again, from very small to very big, and with a bit of presence, let's have a look at the 2004 BMW R1150R. Nice low mileage bike, this one. Really nice condition, smashing tyres, lovely paint. Really interesting colour combination as well, isn't it, this?
Yeah, it's nice overall bike. Runs well. I've actually rode this one. Brakes work well. Motor sounds great. And this is actually shaft driven rather than belt driven.
I noticed that, yeah.
Yeah, like a few of the sort of the BMWs from that era. Quite a heavy machine, but once it gets going, very stable. Doesn't need an awful lot doing to it. It just needs a good detail and a new home.
It's a funky looking thing. I've seen one of these in the BMW museum, you know. Ridiculous, because they have all the cars and the bikes in there, and
Yeah.
it's just a fabulous looking thing, isn't it?
Yeah,
Is that
fantastic.
quite a rare bike in that colour combination?
I've never seen one in that colour combination before. Whether it's rare or not, I'm not too sure, to be honest.
And this is a bit more me. I do like this. I do like a flat twin, though, to be fair. So 2003 BMW R1200C.
Yep.
Last MOT passed with no advisories. It's only done 20 miles since that.
Yeah,
So
so
I
it's
would
not
say you're
really
probably
new.
good to go, aren't you?
I would imagine, yeah.
Yeah.
Imagine you're pretty safe. These things are big cruisers. These are very comfortable to ride if you want to bang out the miles.
And then that is, again, not an enormous amount of money for what is an enormous amount of bike. That's 3.5 to 4 grand, that.
Yeah.
That seems like a bit of a bargain to me.
Yeah, it is a bargain. And again, just like the other BMW we spoke about, doesn't really need much doing. Just needs a bit of a tidy up, as you can see.
Yeah.
All the chrome work's in good condition. The exhaust is nice and stuff on it. And like I say, it runs and rides well. Good to go.
Yeah, very pretty looking bike, that.
Yeah.
Got a lot of presence.
Yeah.
I'm talking of presence. Look at this 2008 Suzuki Gix 1000 K8, full service history with 9,000 restored miles on it, all the previous MOTs, good tyres, and 11 months MOT. Another bike that's ready to jump on and ride for the spring.
Yeah, it is, yeah. I mean, to be honest with you, this bike's a 2008. The 2006 to 2009 models are still renowned for being very, very good usable sports bikes.
Yeah.
The 750 is the one that everyone wants because it's 600 weight with 1000cc almost power. However, the 1000cc, these do sell very, very well. And you know, I always recommend to anybody that's getting into sports bikes and they say, what should I look at? I pretty much recommend this era, the K5, 6, 7, 8, as an extremely good way to get in because they're quite powerful machines, but they're just so forgiving and easy to ride. Really easy. Yeah. Fantastic bike, really clean. There's a small bracket missing on the other side which you could pick up off eBay or something fairly cheap. Other than that, it's good to go, and it's a nice example.
And 5 to 6 grand, again, you can take that home.
Yeah.
The 2000 Kawasaki Ninja.
Now this is a beastie, isn't it?
Great colour.
So yeah, looks like a super bike,
Yeah.
but essentially it's a cruiser. So it's a bit of a hybrid.
Best of both then,
somewhat.
really, isn't it?
Yeah,
Easy to
yeah,
ride, but actually looks mega.
Yeah, you could call it a super cruiser if you like. It's designed for someone who wants to look like they've got a sports bike. The more modern version is the sports tourer, is what they call it. But yeah, very fast bike, 200-mile-an-hour bike, 1200cc, straight four, really good condition. From the same chap that's put the TC250 in. We know this guy, we've dealt with him before. Really genuine guy, and it's a dead straight bike.
It's beautiful, and that could be between 4.5 and 5.5 grand if you fancy that.
Yep.
Moving on to the Aprilia, another fabulous looking bike. This selection of sports bikes we've got here look really good, don't they?
Yeah.
2004 Aprilia RSV Miglia R. So 2000s, 1000 V-twin again, fresh MOT, good tyres, really nice aftermarket exhaust system. Got some history, but not the whole history. It's got the book, it's got the spare key.
Yeah, spare key. The only thing with this bike that I would highlight is that, and anyone who knows about Aprilias know this, they get problems with the clocks.
Yeah.
It's just a thing. It's nothing dodgy. You know, it's one of the things that happens, and the clocks go wrong. So one of the registered miles on it is 2,000 miles less.
Right.
And then it goes up to 9,000. But
Yeah.
the actual bike has done 7,000 miles, not 9,000 miles, and it reflects in its shape. It's a good bike. It's got a pillion seat cover on there as well to give you the sports look. Or if you want to stick someone on the back, it comes with its pillion seat as well.
So either or.
So either or. Sounds, it's got some Beowulf exhausts on it, which really make it sound good. It really brings out that V-twin sound from the engine. Quick bike, good condition, and like you say, MOT'd, serviced, good to go.
And not a huge amount of money, 2.5 to 3.5 grand.
Yeah.
You could be the next owner. Could be your name on the V5C.
And that's it.
So then we go into the Honda Jelly Mold. This is a great looking thing, isn't it?
Yeah, well, the jelly molds are always popular. They're very popular, especially the early 90s ones. This one's a late 90s model, and in overall, apart from some different indicators and a few minor bits and pieces, it's mostly an original bike. Miles are good on it. This bike has just been MOT'd.
Yeah.
It's just been serviced. It runs, it rides, it starts great. And yeah, this another one that you can just put straight on the road. Low reserve on this one as well.
1,200 to 1,400 quid. So
Is that what it is?
yeah, that's what it is.
Yeah, yeah. So
And that looks like an incredible amount of bike for the money. That looks to me.
It is, yeah. And also, if you did decide that you want to get it back to being completely original and really boost the price of it, you'd only need a couple of £100. There's not really much to do there as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely fabulous. And it moves us on to, we do like a nice project. We've got so many collector's bikes that need nothing. We've got bikes you probably never use.
Yeah.
And just to finish us off, a nice little fixer-upper that you can have some fun with and not break the bank.
So why not? Everyone loves a good project like
yeah.
say. So this bike essentially is a CBR 600. It's an F, so it's the same as the one next to it.
Yeah.
It's just that this is a late 80s, early 90s, and that is a late 90s, just pre-millennium motorcycle. So it's the same bike.
Yeah.
However, as you can see, this one is a restoration project. It runs.
Yeah.
It starts and it's got an MOT, so mechanically it's okay.
So you could ride this and fix it up at the same time?
Well, yeah, if you wish to. And I think the reason people like these jelly molds is because the parts are everywhere.
Yeah.
They're very inexpensive to do. And there might even be a couple of quid in there for you if you can do it.
Well, there you go, because if you fancy a bike project for this spring or summer, that's 600 to 800 quid. So this one, 1963 Lambretta TV175, fully restored, and the reason it's at the front is because it's just pristine.
Yeah, look at it. Tell me when you've seen a better TV175 or Lambretta than this. I mean, we've had the side panels off and everything and stripped it back.
Yeah.
And it's as good in there as what you can see right now. So the gentleman that's done this, that's his hobby. That's what he does. He loves doing it, and as you can see, he spends a lot of time. There's a lot of pride gone into this, and also, you know, there's a lot of expenditure as well. He's not missed out on anything here. The TV175 is the one that all the Hollywood stars used to fly around on back in the day. It's the one that everyone wants, and this really is a really good, solid example.
It's gorgeous. £5,500 to £6,500 would buy you that beautiful bike, and as Jimmy says, it needs nothing. It's ready to go. It's pristine. It is like buying a brand new scooter, isn't it?
Yeah, it just needs a bum on a seat.
It does. Now this Ducati, I've never seen anything quite like this in my life. This is a 61 Elite 200.
Yeah.
What a ridiculous looking bike. That's amazing.
Do you know, it just looks like a beautiful little clock.
Doesn't it?
It's just
It's
like
a jewel,
little
you're
ornament.
right.
It's just stunning. I mean, that bronze anodized frame, right down to this pearlescent red paintwork, and the chrome, and it's just how it should be.
Yeah.
It's lovely. You know, the Ducati Elites have been around for a while. However, to find one of this year in this condition is very rare, and it really just is a beautiful thing. It's been sat in a gentleman's collection who sadly passed a short while ago, and a good friend of his has brought it in, and we said we'd do our best for him. So it's been loved and cherished, and I think it reflects in what you see.
Yeah, incredible looking bike. £5,000 to £6,000 will buy you that. And don't forget, if you've seen any bikes you like, you still have 2 days to come and view here at Manor Park Classics. If you're clever and you're watching this on the Wednesday night, we have Thursday, we have Friday, and we have a tiny bit of Saturday morning for you to have a quick look before Jules gets on the rostrum at 10 o'clock. Make sure you've registered to bid. That's the most important thing. Can't even say it. ManorParkClassics.com. We'll see you from 9 o'clock on Saturday morning, or we'll see you online, and the fun starts at 10.
See you there.
See you there.